Welcome to Midnight Girltalk, the show that should be recorded at midnight but isn't. I'm Puppy Girl.
I'm Midnight Rain.
And I'm Purple Moon.
And today we have our lovely guest back.
Hello, I'm Mal.
Today we were going to talk about kind of a BDSM 101 with our lovely guest Mal, and kind of going into some of the basics on that kind of stuff. But Mal has notes and I don't, so I'll hand it over to him.
Teach us, Mal.
Now, you said I had notes. I do, but it's more just talking points that I wanted to go over.
Yeah.
So, we will start at the most basic of basic, which is communication, which is important for not just for the BDSM community, but also for relationships in general. You want to be able to be with a partner that you can trust absolutely fully. You want to be able to trust them with your everything. Because for a lot of BDSM, it is a risk-heavy lifestyle. There are some dangers in it, and people can get hurt people will get hurt even if things are done absolutely correctly.
Yeah.
And you just want to have a partner that you know you can trust that will do everything in their power to make sure you don't get harmed.
Yeah, and also when we're talking about this in like the context of normal relationships as well, you also need to be able to just like that fundamental level of trust, because like this person's potentially going to be like inside you, like I don't know, you need to kind of trust them.
No, yeah, most definitely. It isn't just also trust, you also need to be able to communicate your feelings, and that can be difficult for some people. I know for me, I have a hard time really explaining my emotions to people.
Understandable.
I think that's something that a lot of people have difficulty with. I know it's especially for me because with my ADHD, I have something. I forget what it's referred to, but it's basically like a rejection syndrome, where in my head,
Rejection sensitive dysphoria.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah, where in my head, if I think something's gonna go wrong, it shuts me down completely, and it refrains me from being able to fully articulate that something's a problem because I don't want to upset people.
That's very understandable. Been there.
But it's something that you do have to get over, because if there is a problem in your relationship and you don't specify that it's a problem and just bottle that up, your relationship is going to be strained for the entirety of that section of time where you don't express it, and then it's all going to come to a head.
Yeah, and that tends to explode a lot more when you bottle it up that long.
Mm-hmm. Because then you end up blowing up on your partner, unfortunately, and they don't know where it's coming from. And then they find out that, oh, you've been bottling up this thing that's been bothering you for months. And yeah, of course, that is more of a worst case scenario sort of deal, but it's still an example.
Definitely. So communication, you gotta be able to get past all the bad stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least articulate it, that way you know what things will trigger and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, basically, like I said, like explaining things that are wrong, your boundaries, like properly setting those up, your wants, your needs, your likes, all that. You want to be able to perfectly articulate and express these to your partner, and have them express these to you, because
Yeah, but explaining your limits and kind of knowing where those are is really difficult.
well, yes, that's why it's an ongoing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a one and done thing. You're constantly having these conversations. Like, no one wakes up and knows every single one of their kinks, loves, dislikes, all that. They don't just wake up one day and know that.
Yeah.
you kind of experiment and you learn and you realize, oh, this thing that at first I thought I wasn't going to be into, I actually really enjoy.
I
Or
guess things can
this thing I
evolve
thought I
over
was
time.
going to like, I actually fucking hate.
Mm-hmm. Like, I had a previous partner that was like, oh man, I really want to try anal because I think I'm really into that. And then it turns out they absolutely hate it.
Oh God, ain't that everyone who tries anal? I'm kidding. Okay, anal can
Ooh.
be fun. It just takes so much prep and so much work. It is a pain
Oh
in the
yeah.
ass. Anyways.
Yeah.
Haha.
Or I had a friend that was that's claustrophobic that thought, oh man, I'm never going to enjoy being like tied up and restrained and all that. And they are thoroughly a rope bunny.
How'd you get around that one?
It wasn't me that got her on that one.
How did they get around that one? I don't know.
They didn't go into details with it,
Oh dang.
but the person that they were with was, just very kind and like caring and like very supportive of them, and was like, hey, I know you think that you won't like this, but maybe let's just try it a bit. Here, we'll set this on the table and be like, and
Yeah,
if
take
you
things
don't
slow
enjoy
and
it,
see how they go.
yeah, and if you don't enjoy it, like absolutely don't enjoy it, we'll never touch it again. Or at least that's how she explained it to me, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm proud of you. Which, that's another thing. If someone is trying something for the first time, something that they didn't think they would enjoy, whether they enjoy it or not, praise them afterwards. Like, it was a huge hurdle for them, possibly, to like
Yeah.
be able to come to that in their head of, you know what, I will try and experiment with this.
Yeah.
Like, praise goes a long way.
I'm aware.
After the conversation of communication, after the conversation of communication, you then get into consent, which
Okay.
It can be a slippery road. It very much so can be, but like the communication ahead of time, it goes hand in hand with the consent. Because what some people don't realize is consent can be revoked at any time. It can also be, well, I don't want to say it can be given at any time either, because that's where that slippery road comes into.
Yeah, that gets scary.
Yeah, and I'm a rope it in with the consent in there. Safe words. In scenes, if someone says their safe word, that for whatever they have for stop, all actions stop.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everything stops when they say their, like, for me, I use the light system. So if they say red, it's done. Everything stops. I make sure that they're fine and all that, because they they revoked the consent, so everything needed to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of you need to be able to trust your partner to stop at that point.
Mm-hmm. If you can't trust your partner to stop at that point, you shouldn't be with that partner, and that partner really shouldn't be.
With anyone, damn.
Uh,
Yeah.
Not until they figure that shit out.
Again, slippery road, because sometimes things happen and you don't realize that your partner really wanted you to stop, and like that can, like, I have a friend that more or less happened with, where he wanted things to stop, but the partner didn't. Thing is, the partner didn't realize that things had escalated like that, because unfortunately, both of them were a bit intoxicated, and it started off with consent, but unfortunately didn't end with it.
Mm, that's not good.
No, it's not good. they're fine though. They're fine now. Like they're still together and they like talked that whole thing through and worked through that. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation to sit down and have with them both.
So it sounds like there's a lot, communication beforehand, during, all that, like, and then maybe even like, like you could say this in different ways, like, as your relationship starts, you get a general overview of your communication of the things that you want and need, and
Mm-hmm.
then you, you know, split it up and what do you call it, like, your ongoing things you're talking about as you go, where,
You do like check-ins on what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy or whatever. I don't know if that's what
Yeah,
you're.
yeah, exactly.
yeah. That's like I said. It's always an ongoing conversation. It's always a talk that should be had. It's always something that should be checked on. It's the foundation to a healthy relationship. Is these talks. Since I coupled consent and safe words, safe words don't have to be anything extravagant. They don't have to. They don't have to be anything special. Special. It just has to be something that
You're
you
gonna
both.
remember when you
Yeah.
when you need to say it, and that they're gonna remember whenever you do say it.
Yes, that's exactly why I use the universal light system of red meaning stop, yellow meaning slow down, and green meaning you're all good. Because everyone knows the light system safe words. Well, most everyone.
Yeah, that should be fairly understandable. I mean, fairly easy to
Most,
grasp.
yeah,
Yeah.
like most people in the kink community would understand. I think,
Yeah.
from my from my general
Yeah.
understanding of things.
Yeah. And those who aren't in the kink community, it's something easy to explain because most
Hopefully,
everyone
they've
has
driven
seen.
before.
Yeah, most everyone has seen the traffic lights, and if they don't have the comprehension for that, you probably should not be sleeping with them. So I think the next thing we should go over is aftercare,
It sounds like fun.
because it is another important thing that should be talked about that not enough people do, unfortunately. Like, and aftercare isn't just for the BDSM community. It's for anything like, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be for anything sexual either. It's just
For anything kind of like emotionally and physically intense in that way, like generally it's going to be either sex or kink related, but
but
yeah,
yeah.
for anything in that kind of vein, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. Anything in that sort of vein, you kind of need aftercare afterwards. All that aftercare is it's sort of a decompression of sorts.
Yeah.
Um, you you're both coming down from this euphoric high, and unfortunately it can be like a slingshot where, no, not a slingshot, like a rubber band where, yes, it's amazing in the moment, but afterwards you get this sort of this sort of depressive this sort of depressive state afterwards. Not quite, but how do I explain these drops? I, I, well, yeah, I think depressive state is a good basis to say for it, and it's not like true depression. It's more just a state of ickiness that you have at times,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, just basic affection. Well, not basic affection, but well, basic affection can help, but it's as simple as just cuddling or watching TV or any sort of thing like that. Even just going out for a walk afterwards with the person.
Yeah.
that can constitute aftercare. Just
You just gotta
just
kind of
staying with
find out
them.
what works for you, too.
Yeah, just staying with them and doing different things to like help ease their minds.
Make
Yeah.
it seem that you're not just there for that act or whatever it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I hear people be like, yeah, I'd have like your favorite candy or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that would be great, but also like, listen, okay, personally, I do a lot of stuff at my place, and I don't have any of my favorite candy because if I have it, I eat it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say anything. I have a bucket of candy right next to me that I can't keep my hand out of.
See,
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I just don't buy
it can be
candy
as
all that
simple
often.
as
But you've seen it a couple
your
times,
partner like
Rain.
keeping like certain snacks and like bath bombs and such in a hidden place away from you so that they can take them out for said aftercare. Or even just like if it's not too late, like ordering them through an app or something so that they can be delivered to the house so that
You
y'all
don't
can use
gotta,
them
yeah.
then. But of course, like I said, it doesn't have to be that either. You can just cuddle with someone. It can be as simple as that, and or even just falling asleep with them and simple things like that.
I gotta get my girlfriend to fucking hide the candy for me in my apartment.
Do you guys have any questions that you want to specifically know about?
What would you say is the most common thing as far as like for somebody just getting into it? Like, is there a common theme to getting somebody used to like a dom sub relationship?
Mm,
Like, is there like a training wheel phase? They're like, okay, let's take this easy and see how you do, and then we'll get more into it, or
so,
I feel like the
depending
training wheel
on
phase, it can be a part of a dom sub relationship, but only if there's a little involved, okay?
but to answer your question, in a sense, yes. Um, there are certainly some DOMs that have been doing this for quite a while, and whenever they do get like new subs, they do put them through training and such.
okay,
Of course, there's also classes that you can take at your local dungeon.
Where would you go about finding one? A local dungeon. Can I just look that
So
up on Google Maps, or like, is there Facebook groups, or what's up?
there's Facebook groups, there's FetLife groups. You probably could look them up on Google as well. Um, but also know that it's probably better to find them through a group because a lot of these dungeons are not by word of mouth, but you need to know somebody to usually be able to get into them. And that's how they're able to vet through the undesirables.
Yeah, for sure.
For two people that are just getting into it together, it there's really no official training, but it's more well, I can say from my experience, it was more just I did research myself and brought that forward to my partner at the time, and we experimented and tested different things that worked for us from there. Often from my also from my experience, one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of the gateway gateway kinks are like impact play or breath play.
Breath play.
So breath play
Like
at its
restricted breathing
simplest,
type thing?
sort of, yeah,
Okay.
like choking and such. It
Gotcha.
can be under breath play.
Gotcha.
Which, me getting into that's also dangerous because so many people don't know how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So when you're choking somebody, well, you don't press down on their throat. What you're doing is you're actually
Holding like the sides of their neck to kind of restrict the veins a little bit so they kind of get that feeling while not actually choking them out.
yes.
Okay, cool. We heard that from another guest.
Yeah,
I
no,
was just double checking that information.
Yeah, no, you don't press down, you hold the sides. Like you're supposed to like cut off the jugulars in a sense, so that it restricts the blood flow and air to the brain, which gives it that feeling. But also, you need to know the sense of when to stop and how much pressure to use.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not trying to knock out your partner. Granted, there are
Wait, that's
some out there
not the
that
goal?
I was gonna say there are some that are very much into that.
That was a joke. Personally, not super into getting knocked out by my partner, but you know, it happens.
I mean, I've never knocked out a partner by choking them.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I have fucked a few people into unconsciousness. So
that sounds intense.
it's
It is, yeah.
It's fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's how I know I'm doing things right.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, impact play and breath play are often the gateways into BDSM. Because once you start spanking and choking, then you want to try other things. You want to try restraining, whether it be with ropes or handcuffs and such. And then once you go from there, you want to try. What's another one that people like to try from there? Oh yeah. Then you want to try like hot wax and such, which for that, do not just buy regular candles to do hot wax.
Definitely
Because,
not too hot.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
want
want
to
to
find paraffin wax candles.
Yeah. Or I believe soy candles also don't burn too hot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, ordinary wax candles, yeah, no, those are way too hot. You can really burn yourself, especially since oftentimes for wax play you're pouring the wax on very sensitive areas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bad. Oh, ow.
Yeah, no, there's one of them, but also like the nipples and such. Yeah, you you don't want to burn those.
Yeah. I think the burning point of paraffin wax candles is around 100 something degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Right? So it's like, oh, it's like warm, but it's not like you're literally burning your skin, you know? So we were talking about how kind of like the way a lot of people get into kink and BDSM is that they kind of start off with kind of like a harsher treatment during sex, almost, if that makes sense. So like you have your
Yeah.
choking, your breath play, you have your impact play, so stuff like spanking and yeah. Personally, that is not at all how I got into BDSM and kink.
Oh,
Because a lot of
how'd you get
my
into it?
yeah, so personally, a lot of it is kind of the dynamic between me and the other person. It's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. I
Mm.
am not. I am extremely sensitive to touch, and I cannot handle people going too hard. But like, I enjoy pretty extreme dynamics between me and my partner. So I kind of started off with like MDLG type stuff. Um, but personally, I really really enjoy pet play, as I figured out, as you might be able to guess.
Gee, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I hide it really well. I know. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like other things that I like. I'm interested in wax play, but I just haven't gone out of my way to buy the candles or whatever. I've done like feet stuff, I guess, but like, for me mostly, it's like I like being a sub. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's another thing into it. You can be subservient to your partner and still be and still keep things relatively vanilla in a sense without
uh, well, like
getting.
yeah. So for me, it's like, oh, I'm interested in these really kind of, I, in my view, kind of extreme, dynamics between me and the other person, but everything sexually with me is like pastel pink and soft and, you know, very, very cutesy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a lot of fun, and a lot of people that are into kink think it's adorable, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, pet play is certainly another one that some people find themselves getting into. Then, of course, there's also always master and servant,
Yeah,
and then of course DDLG, which well, my
I
bad.
kind of wish there were like
I
I kind
my
of
bad.
wish
I
there were
shouldn't
like a
say.
gender neutral version of that, because it's like,
No,
yeah,
I was gonna
because
say
there's like
I
a
was gonna
bunch of
say
them, and you switch out the letters. There's DDLG is, I feel, the most
well
popular one.
well
There's
I say DDLG, but the actual name that it should be by, and I was actually in a server that changed it to this, but the one that we went by
CGL.
was CGL,
Is
which
that
caregiver
caregiver
little.
little? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know what it stood for, but I knew the acronym.
yeah,
Yeah, well, it just makes it easier to be like, yeah, I like CGL, as opposed to I'm a fan of MDLG and DDLG, or
and
like, because it
MDLB.
Man, it
what?
makes me think I'm back in the military with all the acronyms.
Well, it's like, yeah, it's interesting because it's just like, oh, well,
Yeah,
because like
but
MDLG stands for mommy, dom, little girl.
yeah, and then like I said,
And you change the letters based on the gender of the two people involved.
yeah, DDLB, MDLB. But yeah, no, unfortunately, the only one for that includes everyone would be CGLG.
Wouldn't it just be CGL, like caregiver little?
Oh, why did I say LG?
Because
CGL. See, we've been
we're so
indoctrinated into
used to, yeah,
we've been indoctrinated
no
into
gender
DDLG.
politics in my kink.
Yeah, my bad. CGL.
Yeah, it's
But
real.
yeah,
Are there other ones? Like, there has to be. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any right this minute, but
I mean, you can get into AB
ABDL.
ABD, yeah,
But like
ABDL. But
personally,
that's an
I'm not.
entirely different. Well, not
eh,
entirely different.
It's not entirely different. It's like CGL, but like younger.
Yeah, that's. I want to
It
say it's
stands for.
more.
Do you wanna say what it stands for? I don't want to say what it stands for.
And it's. Wait, no,
You
no,
cut out
adult
when you.
baby diaper little. That's my bad.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it. Yeah, yeah. I'm personally not a fan of it.
Great. Probably need to start wrapping up, huh?
Yeah, I have a very important business meeting I need to attend to. So I'm sorry, guys. It's gotta be cut short this time. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send them to midnightgirltalk@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, that's the fastest way to get there. Or just DM me if you know me personally. But so this has been me, Puppy Girl, signing off until next time. Mal, any final notes?
Yeah, I guess if there's any questions anyone has, email them in, and they'll go ahead and drag me back on the show to answer them.
Oh, believe me, I'll
We'd
drag
always
you
love to
back on
drag
the
you
show.
back.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, of course, I had a lovely time. All right, guys.
Yes.
Sorry this one's gotta be short. I gotta go. Have a good Thanksgiving. Don't do drugs. Goodbye.
Bye,
All
guys.
right,
See ya.
stop recording.
Bye.